Long Man Part 2, or at least the final version for 3.22. Lots of games coming out soon, so I won't have much time to explore a lot of other opportunities when it comes down to Path of Exile. If you're just here for time codes, by all means, check the description box for those juicy direct links. Do leave a like or a comment if you want to. I would appreciate it. Also, check out the speed section. I'm going to add a special section in this video for travel speed, because this character can zoom at the speed of light. It is absolutely insane. But right now you're looking at gameplay, which is a little bit more controlled and a little slower, because I want to make sure you guys can see the totems. Because if you also looked at the very beginning of the video, I used a different support gem. I would not recommend that for single target, but if you use it for mapping, you get a full meter's worth of range. It's the equivalent of 10 different tattoos. It's the Divergent Ancestral Call, as you could have seen already, as opposed to the Awakened Brutality, which at level 5 also gives you Crush. So you are significantly gimping your single target, but as a result, you can literally touch enemies off screen, not to begin to speak of the additional strikes that come with it and the splash damage that comes with that on top of it. All in all, this game has been an incredible experience. It is definitely an acquired taste, but such is the way of life. Many things are acquired. Now, I personally don't think I will play any totem builds anytime soon, unless I specifically get to have another long-range off-screen meme like this. Because without the off-screening, without the excessive range, I think that totems overall feel a little too sluggish and a little too slow for my liking. I have a similar experience with mines, for example, unless I play Hex Blast mines, because those feel really, really good. I suppose I'm a little weird in my preferences, I guess. But either way, if you're looking for an incredible totem build that can handle all mods on Vaal temple farming, such as I do, and the Sanctum, it completely destroys Sanctum. It destroys most bosses as well. I personally struggle with either of Worlds, but that's more of a skill issue, I'm afraid to admit. Because considering I have been quite lazy, since I've always been able to overcome the damage input by being sustain heavy with my Forbidden Rite and such. I've kind of dropped the ball on that. But otherwise, if you are a better gamer than I am, you can pretty much dominate every single piece of content off screen if you must. It does everything really, really well. And it has been an interesting experience, as I said earlier, because I was kind of worried that it was going to be really, really bad because it's totems. But it ended up being surprisingly satisfying. And I think part of that is also the fact that we can just destroy entire screens and bodies explode due to the mastery. It's been fun. It has been fun. Maybe I can push it even further if I had more time, but new things are upon us. Let us move on to the gear. Now, I know I just said the word gear, but real quickly, no pun intended, let's talk a little bit about the travel speed right here. You can already tell by Leap Slam and how quickly you are leap slamming in one spot, which is also how you build rage with the alt quality rage support, by the way, on how fast we can travel. I'm still surprised how quickly it really is. You can traverse from one end of the map in a mere second. It is incredibly quick. Although it is Leap Slam at the end of the day, it does have its quirks, as you can see. It does get stuck in some weird position sometimes, but other than that, if you can control that efficiently and effectively, you can traverse so quickly, and that's just something I wanted to show off real quickly. Let's get actually into the gear. So let's talk a little bit about the gear. Did a minor recraft, different corruptions, some minor tweaks, some, divining and all that good stuff. Starting with the weapon, it's just a high rolled Aziri Disfavor. You could search for double corruptions, but the ones that I found that were good were either not well rolled, so you would lose a lot of value on that, or it takes a tremendous amount of actual currency getting a good double corrupt, because there's a lot of corruptions that also don't do much of anything, sadly. But a high rolled one gets you easily in the many millions of damage, so don't fret too much. On the helm, we have a lovely maximum life corruption, which is very good with high accuracy rating. There is no real other corruption that works here. I just happened to find someone that was also selling a double corrupt with burning damage. Doesn't do anything for us. You could go for Socketed maybe. Socketed Reservation to reduce the life reservation for clarity. I guess you can remove that 34 to a lower amount if you really wanted to. But honestly, just getting a live one here is really, really nice because this build is pretty starved on life as it is. Still, the mandatory enchant as well for maximum value. Other than that, just a regular Wilma's, nothing too fancy. Harvester of Foes remains the enchantment on our amulet, much like last time. I decided not to switch to the +1 frenzy charge. Other than that, you can still see high stats. We have the Searing Exarch dominant for the Culling Strike that does work on the totems, and of course attribute catalysts. Speaking of catalysts, we have life and mana catalysts right here because I'm desperate for life. Other than that, we also have some additional mana scaling, tier 1 maximum life, which allows me to run the max leveled precision. We'll go through that in the gem section. Also, cast speed and attack speed, essence and tier 1 respectively. The fire resistance is absolutely not mandatory. I would have preferred if that was maybe some strength for more life, or all attributes for the same reason. Although in a perfect world, that would be a tier 1 chaos resistance, because we're not chaos rest capped. We don't have negative chaos rest even without the flask active, but you know, having more chaos rest would be really, really comfortable. So very close to perfection, but not quite. What is pretty close to perfection as well, but not quite, is the second ring, life and mana mods, because once again, same reasons, but also we want to increase the cost reductions, which we have both on the implicits, as well as some damage while leeching life, which is what we're always doing because we have overleech. We have the unveiled life. Rarity does not matter, of course. I just put the hit on the Exalt Slam. Mana cost reduction, craft, cast speed, essence, attack speed tier 1, respectfully, which is quite good. And the really nice intelligence roll there as well, tier 1, which gave me enough mana altogether to run all my auras. The glove speaks for itself, +2 additional enemies on the implicit, together with the mandatory impale chance, unveiled life, a lucky Exalt Slam, a melee strike range craft, chaos resistance fracture. It just makes it easier to craft because the essence for the Suck of the Gems is of course deterministic, and the cat skill craft is done with beast crafting, which is also deterministic. So once you fix your suffixes, this is ridiculously easy to craft. We have a Dawn Strider here with +1 maximum endurance charges. I have been looking for a double implicit, maybe some more movement speed, maybe some other good stats, right? Unfortunately, I've been unable to find affordable ones because Dawn Strider does not necessarily drop easily for good folk, let alone double corrupting it then, and then also being easily sold off. Have not been able to find it, so I just went with a +1 to maximum endurance charges, and then of course a higher roll on that max life because I need life. The Mage Blood, I switched to armor while fortified with attributes because attributes, of course, are always neat, especially with all the tattoos this league. Other than that, it speaks for itself because it's a Mage Blood. We still have Progenesis. We're running a Silver Flask with attack speed. We are using a Ruby Flask with Avoid Being Shocked to help with our Storm Shroud. We have reduced mana cost as well on our Sapphire, and then on our Topaz we have increased cast speed because all of that stacks with the Solaris Wilma, which is delightful. And by the way, I made the mistake of forgetting Ancestral Bond existed. We do get it on the helm already. It's the final line. I was trying to roll it on the passive tree like an idiot. So don't be like me and waste valuable divines trying to hit something you don't need because it doesn't stack. Anyway, let's talk about the gems. So we're still holding a lot of shiny gems, including a gem swap. So let's talk about that a little bit. On the weapon, we have Impale Support 2120 for maximum value. Divergent Ancestral Protector. The alt quality allows the totems to be active at a further range. Very important. Divergent Multiple Totems for maximum damage, courtesy of course, the support bonus on the weapon itself. Awakened Multi-Strike Support, because you gotta go hard. I do not feel comfortable corrupting this one still. Awakened Melee Fisk for the wonderful damage bonus, as well as Intimidate debuff. And then we have a Divergent Ancestral Call support. As you can see, it gives a full meter worth of range as a result of the quality on the gem, as well as the favor bone or disfavors axe bonus. It's incredibly insane. Although in a perfect world, you don't even use it because you have so much range already. You really need the brutality support damage for those single target situations because you will notice it. The raw damage you get from this, as well as the crush debuff, it adds up to too much value. But if you're just mapping, Divergent Ancestral Call support is a wonderful addition. On the helm, though, we have War Banner, obviously connected to an Arrogance support, which is free because we are champion. We still have a Portal Gem because why not? I could not find a good alternative. Blood Rage did not feel very good to me. And Increased Duration did not either. The Divergent Clarity here is still level 1, just to trigger the wonderful Watcher's Eye that we have, as well as a little bit of bonus due to the Divergent quality. Since we're not using any mana, we're always at full mana. That's why that exists. On the gloves, we have the Phantasmal Leap Slam, a Leap Slam for additional attack speed. Gotta go fast. Faster attack support, 2120, because you gotta go fast. Divergent Rage support. If you go fast, you also have a chance to generate Rage, which is how you can perhaps amp up prior to Uber bosses if you want to maximize your damage output, as well as a less duration, which does not affect the aforementioned gems, but does affect the crafted cat skill, which is why we're able to keep up our charges permanently, because it cycles at a much lesser duration, thus giving us the proc we require to get our charges through the chest piece. It's a little tech there. It's very easy. On the boots, though, we have cast with damage taken 10, Immortal Call 12, life tap because we don't want to use mana, and as well as the Berserk if you want to amp it up prior to a big fight like an Uber boss. On the 6 link itself in the chest, we have Empower support level 4, Enlighten support level 4, Pride 2120, just regular Pride because the area of effect is important, for Pride at least. Anomalous Precision at level 20. With our setup, we can run it at level 20. Some people have to down level this, but if you have an Anomalous with enough mana, just run this. It's just very good. Anomalous Herald of Purity, not really necessary to be anomalous, but the chance to taunt can be clutch. And of course Haste, which is always active, and then we also have a left click Vaal Haste for the occasional speed buff that I don't really want to think about. So aside from that, pretty much all the gems are pretty much the same, aside from the occasional corruption, and of course the important gem swap for maximum memes. And last but not least, the passive skill tree. We'll go through it as well as discuss what you can do for the last 5 levels, although you should be able to figure it out by yourself. But I will let you know regardless. Starting with the Ascendancy, though, the Champion, Mandatory Master of Metal, Unstoppable Hero, Fortitude, as well as Inspirational. There's not much you can do in terms of this, so just go with that and you'll be fine. We're going left as opposed to right. This allows us to change more strength nodes into the Tukohama Warmonger Tattoo for more melee strike range. We do go a little bit of right here for the value nodes. Obviously, lots of value in these notables, as well as the Destroyer, which gets the benefit from the Timeless Jewel. In this case, it ends up being 5% chance to deal double damage, which is huge, since we are hit-based, and it does work on the totems. We do go up for a socket here, Storm Shroud. We pick up Corrupted Blood immunity on top of that as well. As you can see, every single strength node is changed into that Tukohama Warmonger. We do have an open intelligence. Unfortunately, if I were to use this, I will not be able to reserve my level 20 precision. However, if you manage to have more than enough mana by getting more levels, you can turn this into a life, 2% life tattoo, I would recommend. Or maybe some Chaos Res, who knows. We do go down here for another big tattoo, Tattoo of the Katava Makanga. Most of our defenses and sustain are overleached since we steal that from the Slayer. So this, of course, is lots of value for that, which is also why we have the weird aura effect, singular node, and sword node, despite the fact that we don't have a sword. It's mandatory for the tattoo to be active. We do pick up Tribal Fury, though, which is where the splash comes from, as well as the additional enemy on the attack mastery. Very good value. We also pick up a loyalty tattoo of Utula right here, which is simply just a stronger version of the leech mastery. Once it triggers, I believe it's up to 20% increased instant leech. So if you don't die, you will be instantly cured to fall, healed to fall, not cured, healed to fall. Speaking of health, Bloodless is also just good value to pick up while you're here anyway, so that's what we do. In terms of the cluster, we have a triple cluster here, Battle Hardened, Force Multiplier, Master the Fundamentals. We'll speak about that just in a little bit more. On the medium clusters, we have Ancestral Guidance, Snaring Spirit with some Chaos Res and Strength. On the other hand, more Chaos Res and all attributes, as well as Ancestral Guidance and Reach in that sense. So double Guidance, 1 Snaring Spirits, 1 Reach. And on the minor and mandatory and super expensive clusters, we have 35% increase effect, triple note with Chaos Res, good stats, and of course a frantic aspect for Haste, which is very, very good. And then a destructive aspect with all attributes, all elemental res, which is not really mandatory, let's be real. And 35% increased effect on it for Pride right here as well. This combined allowed us to run all the auras in our chest while amping them up with Empower too. Very important. Either in terms of the rest, a lot of travel nodes right here. As you can see, they're all turned into melee strike range. We do pick up Hatchet Master just for more attack speed and damage, including Axe Mastery. Effective Onslaught on you is just incredibly good, since we have permanent Onslaught from our Mage Blood, so we're just juicing that further. We do pick up a Golem's Blood as well. It is buffed further with Warcry buff effect, but we don't use Warcries in this build. I suppose you could, if you want to go maximum memes, you could pick up Call to Arms, and then take in Ancestral Cry, I believe it is called, for more melee range. The melee strike bonuses do not count, since you're not the one doing the damage, but you could get even more range, I suppose, if you wanted to. We also pick up Cloth and Chain. Not super important, but the deal double damage 5% value is why we have it here. It is too valuable to give that up with this particular Timeless Jewel. We do pick up the Totem Wheel, obviously. We go top side first, into the bottom, all the way to Ironroot, while picking up Surveillance and Panopticon, which is the big one, including Totem Mastery. This is where we get our Leech from, which of course is buffed with the, or not buffed, but incredibly valued due to our Slayer's Overleech that we steal. More. Oh, we actually pick up a maximum life right here, as you do. We do pick up Savagery, increased physical damage, which does work. A Lethal Pride, doesn't matter from whom it is. In this case, it has to be Rakiata. Doesn't matter, because as you can see, there's no keystones that are changed, because we don't care about the keystone. We only care about the notable buffs and, of course, the additional strength that we get from it on all the minor ones. More melee strike range as well, because this is a minor strength note that got tattooed. And then we have another maximum endurance charge with chance to deal double damage. Incredible value. Revelry for more mandatory mana to be able to run all our auras, as well as buffing some of those. As well as, on top of that, 20% increased melee damage as a result of the Timeless Jewel. And then we have Assured Strike to maximize our memes and to get more damage. We also pick up melee strike range for maximum memes and quality of life, but also get the totem damage, which does also scale our damage quite nicely as a result of the Timeless Jewel. We go to the right. These are mostly dex nodes, so we turn them into life because we were life starved. We pick up Forceful Skewering to help with the Impale effect and Impale chance. We also pick up the 10% chance on hitting an enemy for all impales an enemy to last an additional hit, which is really good for like tougher enemies, naturally, not those who instantly die. Feller of Foes, another Axe Mastery to get the hits are destroyed. This will help with things like porcupines blowing up or detonate dead effects. If there's no bodies, there's no downside. So you are significantly safer around chests, which is very important since we are doing Vaal Temple farming, of course. If you are not doing it or you are brave enough to just walk away, you can simply not take this mastery or take a different one elsewhere, perhaps. We do pick up some global accuracy tattoos on the travel nodes right here, just so that we have 100% here. You could sacrifice some of those for different tattoos, maybe. As long as your main chance to hit 100 is 100%, you'll be fine. Evasive monsters don't... It's not really necessary to have that 100%, but I just like it to be 100%. It's like a... It's a... Call it a personality quirk. We have Master the Fundamentals on this, as well as Battle Hardened. The unspec'd notable still is Force Multiplier. And in the gem sockets, we have for the Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh. For the Brutal Fervor, which is the Slayer's Overleech. Gives us some little defense and sustainability, which is really, really nice. We also pick up Honor Tattoo of the Warlord, +1 Strength skill gems. We do pick up Precise Technique, so make sure your accuracy is always greater than your maximum life. We also pick up some additional life. Always good, just very good value for 2 nodes. We pick up Vaal Pact, because everything is leech for us. More maximum life. We also pick up Vitality Void, because that's how we sustain our life with additional instant leech. So if we are attacking something, you're pretty much not going to die, assuming you don't get one shot. I already talked about the global accuracy rating, which leads to another socket, which is our triple Watcher's Eye. The only two mods I would recommend at the bare minimum is the -10, so you can run everything without mana cost, as well as the 2 additional hits. The double damage is not really necessary. It just helps with maximizing your output, right? But the -10 mana cost is really, really good, and the additional hits, very good on bosses and tough rares and whatnot. Aside from that, that is pretty much it what we have spec'd right now. So we have 5 levels left because we are level 95. What I would recommend, and POB also states this, in terms of damage per point, the best you can do is for 2 points to go and pick up a force multiplier. So that's 1, 2, and then here another 1, 2. That's the most damage you can reach right now per point. It is really, really good value. But that's only 4 points left, and we are 95, so with 4 that would be 99. So you have 1 point extra. I would strongly recommend either going and picking up this 6% maximum life with 4 additional strength, which is more value than the flat you can get from the mastery, or otherwise you would have to start sacrificing your highest valued damage points and then maybe get some other stuff. You could also pick up, like I said, the Ancestral Call with level 100, I guess, or a point earlier if you're willing to sacrifice a life point, and you are starved for life, so be wary of that. Enduring Cry doesn't work because we're using Vaal Pact. Be wary of that, but you could push the memes further with certain war cries if you would want to do that. It is entirely up to you. I personally would pick up the life node and the 2 force multipliers. And that is it for 3.22 and the long man. Hope you enjoyed this build. Enjoy my content. Check me out on Twitch. Leave a comment. Enjoy whatever I put out coming in the future as well, because lots of things are being thrown our way. I'm very excited. Hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. I'm out.